Now we're back, man. It's walked into a bar.
It's Monday, everyone. Happy President's Day.
Oh, President's Day.
Yeah, my forever President 44. Happy President's Day, President Barack Obama.
I'm only about dead presidents.
All right, so guys, we are here for another episode of Walk into a Bar. I'm your co-host, Ronda, RSVP, and this is the other co-host,
Mr. 100.
Yes. Lifestyle. We are coming live from Montego Bar and Grill, located at 1818 North Charles Street. Listen, support Black-owned businesses. That's why we do what we do, where we do it from, because we are supporting our own. So we got like 4 new fresh meat.
Yeah, y'all heard that, right? We ain't tell y'all about that part.
They do not know the topics of discussion.
Not
They don't even know each other. That's the fun thing, and that's what makes Walk into a Bar so amazing. Is that it's 4 individuals from 4 different lanes sitting down over some libations and having an amazing conversation.
But let me tell you something. By the end of this show, they're gonna know each other very well.
Absolutely, as well as our viewers are going to know them very well. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Let's start with some introductions so that the people know who you are. Let's go ahead and start with the owner of this establishment.
All right. We're going to start off with Mr. Fani, who is the owner of Montego Bar and Grill.
Hello, my name is Ifani, owner of Montego Bar and Grill. You're welcome, and I hope to get to know each and every one of you by the end of this conversation.
Okay, cool. Let's go. Lady to the left, go ahead, introduce yourself.
I am Faith. I'm an artist. I'm a jack of all trades. Whatever I put my mind to, I can do.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Good answer.
Next up, we had this conversation before the show got started. Miss Roxanne, but she's the Empress.
Yes, they call me Empress, and I'm an educator, I'm a counselor, do a lot of things in the community, caseworker, case management, I'm into music, and a whole lot of other creative things. So I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Sound like I'm an emperor, because that sound like what I do. Don't
Tommy, you ain't
That was a
got
good
no
one.
job.
They would call me Tom.
And last but not least,
Definitely not least.
hailing from Baltimore,
All around the city.
all around the city.
I go by King, and I do it all. Welcome. Yep.
And we'll get into what do it all means.
Yeah, because it's jack of all trades,
There's a
do it
lot.
all, I
There's
do
a
it
lot
all.
going on. Yes, toast it up. All right, so we ready to get into this?
Yes. Oh, you want to get straight to it? Or?
Straight to it.
Let's get at it.
We good on there, over there? I'm talking to my peeps over there. We good? All right, here we go. First question. Prada, H&M, and now Gucci? And we mean Gucci, not the fake Gucci, the real Gucci.
Real Gucci.
What is going on with these companies that we as frequent shoppers of these establishments pour a lot of our hard-earned money into these companies, and then they slap us in the face with blackface? You know, it's all over the news. So my question to you guys is, do you feel that companies are using racism as a marketing tool? Go on. I see you shaking your head. Go ahead.
Funny, let's see.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's 2019. So at this point, they already know what they're doing. So we want to put this out there. We're going to get the outrage and people boycotting for, what's the time, 2 to 3 months?
If that long.
If that long.
If that long.
And I think they're actually marketing to a segment of people that will actually go out there and want them to succeed. And I think they get more revenue for that. So that's, I think, an incentive for them. We're spending our hard-earned money, but I don't think that's even enough to what they get from other markets. So we could delve deeper into that, but I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. I think it's definitely not something they care about. They have seen others make the same mistakes, if it's a mistake, and they do the exact same thing, come out with an apology, and then we just wait for the next month and somebody else will do the same thing.
And it'll be all cool again.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't purchase any of their I didn't have to boycott. I do understand the outrage because it is disrespectful to us. However, I will just continue to not purchase any of their items.
I never thought about it as a marketing tool. I saw it as something that they didn't really care about. They don't care about us. They feel like they're going to get the money anyway. Because I think they look at us as we see symbols of we're there, and they are one of those symbols. So regardless of what they throw at us, because we want to be seen as something more than they think we appreciate as we are, we're going to do whatever they want us to do anyway. Boycott, a month is done, 2 months is done, and people are back to buying.
Absolutely. So for me, as a journalist, no publicity is bad publicity, right? So with Gucci coming out with the blackface turtleneck or whatever you want to call it, it's not like somebody hit a button in 20 seconds and then the sweater got released. This was a months
Absolutely.
long process, right? So you mean to tell me, let's say if it takes 6 months, there wasn't one black person or non-racially biased white person in any of the rooms that said, hey, that's not a good idea.
Right.
But Gucci said, hey, we're going to do it anyway. Push it out there, get the outrage, because that's going to make more people look at Gucci, right? Then Floyd Mayweather comes, who is the people's champ, but you know, is a Neanderthal in my opinion.
Right.
He comes out, you know, I'm about to go in Gucci. I'm about to spend this money. Look, what y'all do is what y'all do. What you mean, what y'all do? Y'all, the people you talking about, is the people that support you.
Right.
How you not gonna stand with us? So, I mean, the whole, I'm a product fan. You know, I just like a quality product. But I just can't rock with it no more. I just can't.
But before Floyd Mayweather, Beyonce had on a jacket.
And that was 2 years ago. 2 years?
Yeah, and
1
no
year ago?
one said a word.
And I can tell you, I just noticed that as all the other things came out. So there are a lot of things out there that we may not even be aware of, and we're supporting nonsense because we think people are where they should be. And like you say, here we come with this picture of Beyonce with this ridiculous coat on.
Right. So I'm all about supporting black businesses. You know, three friends of mine, I'll just plug them real quick. You got the Tortoise Sleep out of Atlanta, Georgia. You got the Maven brand also out of Atlanta, Georgia. It's a bunch of brands here, you know, so there's no need for us to spend, you know, $700 on a pair of shoes for some conglomerate when you can spend $150 or not even, or even half that
Support
with
your
a
own
black-owned
community.
business and help them grow. You know what I mean? So I'm all about, you know, empowering the community.
I'm hoping this whole ordeal, it pushes people in that direction to build their own. We're boycotting, or I'm not boycotting, they're boycotting because I could care less about their product. But they're boycotting until they can sit down and, in my opinion, beg them to care about us. I don't need that. If you couldn't care about us from the beginning, nothing matters. As far as I'm concerned, all of that is canceled. Everybody else that comes up afterwards is canceled. And we need to start building and branding our own and moving that way.
You know what? A lot of us are slaves to materialism, right? So us at the table might have that mindset, right? But we all can attest to, we have at least 10 other friends that won't dare, I'm not going to wear a product. I'm not going to wear Gucci. You know what I'm saying? That being able to afford those things equates to success or wealth, or I've made it to a certain level. I'm a victim of that myself. I've been there, you know. So I come from low-income household, graduated high school, made it to college, good job, and now I was able to afford a certain level of things. I didn't want to drive a Honda Accord. I want a luxury car. I don't want to wear Nikes. I want to wear Louis. You know what I'm saying? So I think we all have to have a coming together of the minds, you know, to not only educate but to empower one another. Be like, hey man, that doesn't validate you, right?
Absolutely.
What's in here validates you. What's up here validates you, right? What you wear doesn't validate you. Until we all get on that same page, I think we're going to be in a kind of a constant rush.
I agree.
Let me ask you a question.
I mean, If I may, I think it's easy to judge when the shoe is not on our foot.
Mhm.
You understand? So for me, if you want to boycott Ross or Marshalls, then I would right now it's not impacting me. That stuff does not do anything for me. I don't wear those kind of brands. One, I can't afford them. Two, I just don't think they're appealing.
Okay.
I think they're overpriced, like t-shirts and whatever, and it's more of a status thing. So you could say that, but then we also have a thing on multiple levels. So it might be clothing. We need to get out of that sphere of influence and build as a community. But I'm a product of an HBCU.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm
Morehouse.
saying? There you go.
Morgan State.
All right.
Okay.
All the way around. All the way around.
Right.
Okay.
And I have siblings that went to Ivy League schools.
Okay.
And for some reason, that was more, she goes to
Right.
Columbia, sorry, my sister. She went to Columbia University, and that was more of an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
We were both in college, but you go to an Ivy League, and that was seen as okay. And she's called me every time, fine, these kids are dumb here, But Daddy got me in here, and whatever he donated, it was those kind of trust fund kids that went there.
Mm-hmm.
But they graduate, and of course their resume is heavier than mine just because of that name. You understand? So on social media, I see a lot of us celebrating. It's a good thing. I have cousins that went to Harvard and all Ivy League schools, but it's an accomplishment. But do we hold it at a higher standard? So when you take that and you say your friends do clothing as well, if I support them, are people going to look at me Harvard or Morgan? You understand what I'm saying? So it's an intrinsic value we place on these things. It's not that we don't want to support.
I got you.
The
Well,
point of buying these clothes is for a certain response.
I got you.
Yes, so let me ask a question, guys. If black designers would flip the script and make clothing that was racial towards Europeans, do you think we would support it?
I think most people would, only because of the anger and frustration they have towards white people. I know a lot of black people that I know personally probably they would wear it as a joke. They would wear it to bash the white people, not to be racist, but to just make them see how it feels. So,
I don't think they're
I
gonna
don't
get it
see
though.
it.
I don't think they're gonna get it.
Yeah,
like
I don't.
if we made some, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
that's fine. Go ahead.
If you made a shirt that said "Crackers love cheese," the average white person not gonna get it. They gonna read it and be like, "Oh, that's funny." They're not gonna get it. But if you have that blackface sweater, it instantly strikes a chord with you. If you have that understanding, it instantly
Right.
strikes that chord.
Right.
But I mean, if we were to produce clothes that were racially offensive, we're not in a position of power to be racist, right? So that's number one. Understanding that dynamic. There's a difference between racism and being prejudiced, right? We can be prejudiced all day, but we don't have the ability to affect someone's economic status, someone's educational status, or any of that. So we can't
Right.
technically be racist as black people in the United
Right.
States.
that's why I said they would wear it as a joke.
Right.
Like it wouldn't impact them.
So go ahead, I want to hear what you
You said disagree?
Yeah.
I want to.
I just wanted to say that I wouldn't disrespect myself putting anything like that on my body. Like, as much as I hate this current president, and as many times as I wanted to make a shirt and wear a shirt that said F Donald Trump, I don't want to give him none of that a part of me. Because that's my energy. You understand? Like, I care more about myself. And I think overall, that's just not where our focus would be. Because to me, white people are doing the things they're doing out of fear. They are insecure. There's so many things that are lacking. We're not lacking those things. We're resilient. We're out here living our best life when we don't have a life to live sometimes. We're still pushing it through and we're still moving forward. So I'm not going to give any of my energy to anything like that. I'm going to have to move in a different direction.
Good point.
So different points. I'll touch on Donald Trump. Donald Trump is pretty much, I appreciate him in office because he has peeled back the curtains and shown us what it really is. And I think a lot of us on the East Coast live in a bubble, and we don't know what the true feelings of this country are. I think they've been masked for a long time. So even with the Virginia folks, the governor, and all these things that are coming out, these people are not that old.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
MLK died, was killed probably a few years before most of us were born. So think of now, what were you doing 5-10 years ago? It was really not that long ago.
Right.
So think civil rights era, 60s, that was not really a long time before we were born.
Right,
So a lot of these people were still, were young back then, you know. They were not civil rights activists. They were just living normal life like people live normal life and want to go to the NFL game. And why are they doing this kneel down for the anthem? I don't get it. So that's the same way housing discrimination, all that was back then. It was that time. We look back at it now and see the focus on that,
Okay.
and it becomes, oh well, why was this not an issue for you? It was something normal as we're having this debate today, or something that should not even be a debate. Okay? FUBU for us by us. We laughed that out of business. Right? So a black person,
That was a good point.
a black person making something racist for us to where we won't even support our own thing. So why would I, you know? And then to your point, this brother in New York actually did something where he put Washington white skins or something, like he made something in response to Washington arrest.
Oh
I saw
yeah.
that.
Did he get locked up?
He got death threats.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they know
Yeah.
when it's flipped, when the script is flipped, they know, okay, why are you wearing that? Oh, but it's okay to have this mascot for people that went on a trail of tears.
See, I only think that's in certain arenas, though. I think that's only in certain.
Okay.
It would only apply to certain arenas, like the NFL, for example. So you have a humongous following, right? Regardless of race, sexual orientation, whatever. NFL has a humongous following.
Yes.
So when you change the name, when you take a easily recognized emblem, right, and you reword it, that's going to immediately grab a lot of attention, right? So when you take Washington Redskins to take it to New York Whiteskins or whatever it said, that immediately got people upset. Like, we don't like change.
I'm ready to throw a flag on the play. We hot right now. The topic is hot, but we're gonna take a commercial break, and we're gonna come back with ... Walked into a bar.
Go ahead and sip,
I'm
y'all.
ready.
Sip.
I'm ready to put on me.
Right.
I'm ready to put on me a white skins t-shirt. We're back,
We're
y'all.
back. And let me tell you, you guys were amazing with that first round. Very insightful, thought-provoking comments. I loved it. What?
You said first round. You must have been thinking about Mayweather with his gooch.
Round one.
Ding, ding, ding. Well, in my nose.
All right, so again, we just want to make sure we let the folks that are just tuning in to ... Walked into a bar know that we are live from Montego Bar and Grill, located at 1818 North Charles Street. And so you want to make sure that you
We're in the
stop
art
through
district,
here.
baby.
Yes, we are up here. Good food, good drinks, good times at our table. Go ahead and introduce yourselves one more time for the late folks. The late folks.
Connie, owner of Montego Bar and Grill, Morgan
Hey.
State University.
Go ahead, jump in there.
Can't jump in front of this.
Wait, the interrupter.
Empress.
I'm king of one and only.
All right. So
I got a lot of royalty in the
a
building.
lot of royalty
Yeah.
is dripping with black excellence up in here this evening with all these HBCUs in the
Oh,
house.
King David, I ain't doing Mr.
Oh
100.
my
Not no
goodness.
King David, you're
So listen, my amazing co-host, Mr. 100, is going to kick it off the next topic of discussion for you guys.
We ready to get deep, y'all.
Let me turn my head on.
Uh-oh, he turned his hat around. I turned my hat around. All right, guys. We're going to talk about the medical industry. Pharmaceuticals versus natural remedies. Will American citizens ever protest against chemically based pharmaceuticals and adopt the implementation of natural remedies to cure illness and diseases?
Nope.
That's a whole lot.
Nope.
No, only because I've asked people personally to look at different research on natural remedies, on holistic doctors, on anything that they can do to avoid pills and all these prescriptions with all these side effects that don't cure you. It treats you temporarily and give you side effects. And they've literally told me, no, I'm going to listen to my doctor.
Hey, we gotta have faith, man.
Well, as long as money is involved and they can keep getting us on the money end, none of that is disappearing. They know it's available. They know it's better. They know we'll be better. But of course, they're not going to give us an opportunity to be a part of what's going to work for us because it's not working for them financially. So that's where we're stuck. Unless you make a personal choice to do what you want to do on your own. And that's what you have to do.
I agree, Big Pharma. The money's in the treatment, not the cure. So whatever they could do to keep us sick, we've been blindfolded for so long. A wool has been poured over our eyes for so long. I'll switch lanes and then come right back. So when we were in school, right, we were all told that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492, right?
Yes.
When he got here, the Indians were here, and blah, 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 blah. And Christopher Columbus killed the Indians and blah, blah. But nobody ever asked, how can you discover something if people are already here, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's just the type of trickery and stuff that we've been going through. So Big Pharma will tell you, cow's milk is good for human bones. Good for your brain development and all this and blah, 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 blah. It is 2018, last year, cow's milk is really, really bad for you. You shouldn't even drink skim milk. You shouldn't drink soy. You shouldn't drink any of that, even though Dr. Subby Ben said you shouldn't eat soy or whatever. But we're so easily led astray because we don't, I believe, I can only speak from a black experience, we don't have a strong connection to our roots or our foundation, right? So since we are missing that, we miss out on a lot of ways to progress, whether it be holistic healing, meditation, becoming more spiritual, any of those things. We miss out on those simple things that will make our lives a lot better, simply because we are so far disconnected.
Anybody else mama had that the book of home remedies? My mama had that big old Bible. And you open it, whatever it is, you open it up and it was the home remedy book.
Page for page.
Yes.
And we had your grandmother, your great grandmother had the simplest solutions for when people fall out and go to the doctor for them. I mean, if you got the flu, your grandmother, great grandmother be like, rub some cognac on his gums and put it to sleep. Now it's like, for young mothers now, single parents now, he burned it up. I don't know what to do. It's a disconnect. It's a disconnect. I mean, and until we come together, man, we just gonna. It's disheartening to say. Until we come together, man, we're just gonna be further and further lost.
Yeah, I'll say I have some friends in the medical field, and their thing is, if we don't treat, we don't eat. So that's a
Hippocratic oath.
Yeah. So that encompasses pretty much what they're about. When I was dabbling in the stock market, I owned shares. So pretty much I am hoping for these medicines to sell, so my portfolio can grow. So
Absolutely.
I can't really say I want people to be better because it's kind of like a conflict of interest.
So were you becoming a part of the problem? Is that what you
I was
saying?
definitely a part of the problem.
Yeah. I was waiting for that answer. I'm about to be like, I don't know how you gonna answer that.
I was definitely a part of the problem. So the thing is, I'm not going to name any of the Pharma names here, but a lot of us are invested in those companies.
Are you still invested?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Not because after the crash, I never went back into answer that, but
So you're not invested because of other reasons, but not because you felt that you should do something better.
right. It was nothing moral about it. It was business. And
Okay.
that's just me being honest.
Okay.
Okay, this is just for the guests at the table, not the viewers, not us, just you guys. I'm an extremist. So you're injured, suffered a stab wound, gunshot wound. Are you going to a holistic doctor, witch doctor, voodoo doctor, or are you going to your local hospital to
Got
be treated?
stabbed or shot.
I was actually going to make, that was my second point. As a Nigerian, I know my grandparents and my great-grandparents, they were into herbs. So we never went to, we didn't have hospitals to go to in the first place. But Christianity came along and
Messed everything up.
demonized. And my mom, if you're watching, my mom's a pastor, so she needs some healing.
Oh.
But
Sorry,
I just
Mom.
had an awakening. A lot of the stuff was demonized, even our ancestors. The kind of what they did to Haiti, ancestral curses and all that stuff. So I'm like, but these are my ancestors. Why would they want anything bad for me? So it took a lot of re-education and awakening. Went to HBCU for me to kind of unlearn
Right.
years of nonsense. And Christianity has a huge hand, I think religion, but Christianity, where I'm from, has a huge hand in that, because now you go back to the village and people are like waiting, oh, we have no help, we send medicine from the West. But how do and the thing is, Africans did not get sick until the white man came. That's a lot. We got sick.
Right.
We just had
We just took care of
Knew
ourselves.
how
Right.
to.
You saved Europe twice out of
You understand? So all that stuff was lost. So yeah, how did we feed ourselves back then? How did we heal ourselves back then? And there's a video going around from like the 50s or 60s where I think it's in Senegal. Somebody's giving like an open brain surgery, and goes to lunch, and the person's awake. The person is sitting down, and the scalp is cut open. And the videos, I will try to find it. But that's the level that we're on. You understand? So we got exploited a lot, and we lost a lot of those things. Oh, go to church and have faith and believe. While we take what you know when
Absolutely.
Right.
package it up
Absolutely.
and sell it back to you,
Absolutely.
like
Right.
a lot of our other resources.
Right.
So to answer, if I get shot, I'm going to the hospital.
If you got stabbed or
Wait a minute.
I'm
He
contradicting.
said all that. He said all that to say, yeah, you know, this is up here. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the
I'm
hospital.
no test. I'm nobody's test.
haven't unlearned it yet.
Yeah. I'm only
It's
going to
still a
the
process.
hospital if that's my only option.
Right.
If I had another option, if I could go into the village to Rasta and he could take care of me, then that's who
Well,
I'm
you know
going
it's tried and
to.
tested though, and you have that's
But
why it's
if
the
I'm
option.
home in the village where Rasta is, I can get it done. But if I'm not here, like he's not where I live, like I don't have that option here.
So you're saying you go to the hospital.
Only if that was my only option.
Because
Like
she doesn't have the
if I'm here, I know I don't have the person that I want
Right.
to care for me. So if I'm going to live, I'm not going to be dumb. I'm going to go to the hospital. But if I'm Jamaica, I'm in the village, I'm going to go where I need to go for healing.
Even though a hospital is there, available there too.
Exactly.
So let me ask this question real quick. With knowing and understanding how the pharmaceutical industry works and how the medical field works, right? If you go to the doctor and let's say you've had a stomach ache for 4 or 5 days, right? and you had 10 symptoms, right? Fever, headache, nausea, dryness of mouth, whatever the case may be, right? When you go to the hospital, knowing how they play on your sickness to get more money out of you, do you divulge all of your symptoms? A lot of black people are I ask that because a lot of black people are skeptical. So they say, oh, my stomach hurts, but nothing else is bothering me. It's just I have a odd little cramp in my stomach.
I do. But that doesn't mean that I have to take all of the prescriptions that they try to give me.
Okay.
Yeah, I have had bottles of all that stuff that people get hooked on, painkillers.
Yeah.
I just never took them. They never.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
So that's one. I would not say that the whole industry should be demonized. There is some good that comes from it. But there's a lot of good that comes from it.
Right.
You understand? So even like pregnant women that go and they can see, there's a lot of advances that have been made. So while I broached on the herbs and the African medicines there are also a lot of dumb superstitions that come with that. You know, that we now know, okay, yeah, that's not why that's happening. You know, this is a simple remedy to it. So even with the vaccinations now that some people believe cause autism, and now there's an outbreak of measles. Oh, my child is, what should I do? I'm like, okay, why didn't you get your child vaccinated? You understand? So
Because they didn't believe in vaccination.
yeah, so
But they shouldn't have to. And even in like that outbreak, like I saw all over Facebook, people were making jokes like, oh, just go get them vaccinated. No, it's not that simple. There's a reason why they chose not to get that vaccination.
why?
You don't trust it.
They don't trust
Okay,
it.
so now your child is sick.
Your child, her child isn't sick.
It's not one person.
But what I was seeing is people had the fear of now all of these people who so-called had the vaccination now have the measles. The one without the vaccination is afraid to get the measles because they're not vaccinated. This outbreak, you mean to tell me everybody in this state wasn't vaccinated? That's why they got the measles?
I can't.
Exactly. So a lot of those people with the measles were vaccinated, but they still have this outbreak.
And may I interject?
So there's something wrong
The way
there.
I understand it is the vaccination is a reduced dose of the actual
Given it to
Supposed to help
the
so that the
Fight.
immune system builds up and fights it.
But you don't necessarily know that the strain that you're being given is the strain that you're going to get.
So is it
Right.
100%?
Because it's mutated.
Is it 100%? Probably, probably not. But I would not
Right.
say that people are going out of their way.
Right.
I would not demonize the whole thing.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, these people are going back to the same places that they said they don't trust.
Right,
You
right.
understand? So
But I'm wondering why in 2019, when we have the internet and so much knowledge that people are not investigating, like I'm not saying you can cure yourself of measles, but I'm saying we were talking about having a stomach ache and you might catch a cold or get the flu. Like there are things that you can do, you know, naturally yourself that you're not choosing to look upon and say, hey, I can do this for me and I can strengthen up myself all the way around. And people are still running to the doctor and getting prescriptions and doing whatever.
I think there's a limit to the industry. Like at the end of the day, you have to be alive for them to make money off of it. So even with the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, where the U.S. was only sending vaccines to certain countries where they were allowed personnel in. There was a whole story behind that. And where I'm from, Nigeria, we had to come up with our own way to eradicate the virus, or disease virus.
And that magically went away.
And that magically went away. And it came here with two people. It was a lady in Dallas and somebody I think in Atlanta that contracted it and quarantined. Okay, you're not going anywhere. We're dealing with this here and now. So can you make money off of Ebola, the vaccine? Yeah, they could have sold that thing and made a lot of money, but what good does it do when everybody is dying? So something that could eradicate a population, I don't think they're going to play with. Like, And this is me coming from, they'll play with like the Tuskegee Airmen. It will be controlled, right?
Okay. That's a good point.
But to put everybody at risk, I think, for me, coming from the outside, being a foreigner coming here, I would give the U.S. government a lot of credit in that they actually care about their citizens. They do.
Okay. So
That's
this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna
That
go
is
here.
interesting.
We're gonna go here, guys, because
Yeah.
Empress had a very important point when she said, if I was sick with a certain illness or disease, but I don't have the natural remedy resource to connect to get that healed, I'm going to have to take the course of a hospital to get my health to stay alive. So we're going to close it out with saying, is the pharmaceutical industry the real trap?
Yes, and that's why many of our people out here that's trying to guide us to a natural way of living are disappearing. And enough people are not asking why. Where are these people going? How are they dying? What is happening? What is happening? You know, it's happening for a reason. They have something we need that's going to knock the other people out the box. So they get knocked out before they can do that.
Right.
That's how I see it.
I think for me, everything boils down to economics.
Yeah.
Bottom line, because back in the day, if you smoke weed, you're going to hell. You're going to death. And people in Jamaica that, I guess, Maroons or whoever in the hills that, these are all the health benefits. Okay, you have dreadlocks and you smoke, why do I believe you versus this person that went to medical school? 2019, oh yeah, it cures this, it cures that. But now you see all these dispensaries opening up. So until there's a way to monetize,
Right? It's all about.
we're going to demonize, right?
Right. It's the trap, y'all. It's the trap. Pharmaceuticals versus natural remedy is all about the trap. We're going to take a commercial break. This has been powerful right here. This was a powerful topic, but we want to take a commercial break and talk about some of our sponsors and some of our shows. Y'all talk about the Live Wide Morning Show.
Yes.
Women's Talk Live.
Yes, and some other shows. So we're going to go to commercial break, enjoy it, and we'll be back. Hello, we are back from that very, very short commercial break. You all right, David? Get yourself together. We are here again. I want to make everyone aware that we were on Montego Bar and Grill, located at 1818 North Charles Street, and we are taping live, walked into a bar. So this is what, second episode?
Yes.
This is the second episode of this season.
Yeah.
We had
Snow tried to stop us.
Yeah, we had to shout out to our supporters that re-watched the first episode because we were not able to tape live last week due to the inclement weather. So listen, our folks here, they have survived round 2. And look, now the conversation has been so good that they even still talking amongst themselves when they drinks.
They talking about they survived the trap.
So thirsty. So thirsty. So listen, we're going to change gears yet again because that's how we do this thing. We want to talk about how a couple weeks ago there was an incident at the University of Maryland Hospital where one of the employees was shot during the day. So what we found out is that it was a crime of passion. A young man, and the young man that was an employee and the young man that was a shooter were involved in a romantic relationship, is what I understand. The young man that is an employee at the hospital severed their relationship and entered into a heterosexual relationship. So he left his gay partner and entered into a relationship with a woman. But the shooter was not having it. And even upon being arrested for shooting him, he made the statement, I am not going to rest until he is dead. So, we're coming to you like, what is your thoughts on it? Here we are, domestic violence has traditionally been man against woman. That's been the traditional. And then they started moving, recognizing that no, men were being abused by women as well. But now the Me Too movement has gone into a whole nother area where it's amongst our lesbian, gay, bi, transgender,
LGBTQ community.
And so what are your thoughts on that? These crimes of passion, these acts of passion, domestic violence issues that's going on in heterosexual as well as homosexual relationships?
I don't think it's new. I don't think it's something, I think it's something that may have just been brought to light, but I think it's been happening for as long as there have been homosexuals, heterosexuals, everybody. I think it's people in general that just have domestic violence issues.
I think that sums it up. We're good.
Emotions are emotions. It doesn't matter if you're what your
Sexual
what your preference is. Like you're saying, it's news now because what was traditional back then would be the two guys that were in that relationship would not have dare say that they were in that relationship. So we would have just let them go. It was a friend's beef, or they were fighting over the lady. You understand? But now that society has embraced and it's normal to be in a same-sex union, that's why we're now hearing about these incidents. And it used to be, oh, why is she a lesbian? Well, because she got abused by her boyfriend, and just to find out that lesbians were beating up each other too. You understand? So it was just a thing to where I think that community, the LGBTQ community, I sound like Trump.
I was about to say, is that right? Cute.
Was glamorized as this is a I forget the word I'm trying to use, but that they did not have the issues that heterosexuals had. Same thing. It was a relationship. Some of them would be great, and some of them would be abusive. It was the same emotions that went on.
One thing I think that's really come to light as of recent, something that's probably been going on for I don't know how long, is the domestic abuse that men suffer at the hands of women, verbally and emotionally. Especially in the black community, as men, you're brought up to disguise your pain or to push it to the side, move on, man up. You know what I'm saying? Take that, just go ahead, you'll be okay, right? When you're in a relationship with somebody that you're in love with, their words do more damage than I think a fist can ever do, right? So now we're at a point where, and I don't know if it's because of the LGBTQ movement that black men are starting to address their own mental health, but there's something going on. I think there's a correlation between the two, whereas though black men are really starting to beginning to pay attention to their mental health, and especially in their relationships, but primarily as it involves themselves.
Well,
Speak to us.
I just think overall, like, I agree with you. I don't think it matters who you are. What you're choosing to do is what matters most, and what positions you're putting yourself in. And overall, society is just getting so confused overall on so many levels. People are losing themselves mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and it's hard to have perspective when you're already dealing with so many things beyond your control. And right now, in our current state, there's a lot of mayhem going on. People are not in tune with themselves enough to even understand what they want, to even know what they need from someone else. And to hear this person say, the bottom line is that they want that person dead, I mean, where is their mental state?
Right.
What happened? Like, we don't know what went on in their lives. Like, I may have thought somewhere down the line the same thing about somebody that I felt harmed me. I didn't act on it, so that has me on a different level. But what's really out there for people to help them feel that it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to get help, and it's okay to seek support. It's not out there, and so these are the results.
I think the resources are becoming more readily available now. And I feel like I keep making it about race, but anyway, as far as black people is concerned, because 40 years ago, how many black therapists did you know of, or did your parents know of? You know what I mean? So when if our parents or our grandparents were dealing with some kind of trauma and they really didn't know how to cope with life, they turned to alcohol, weed, cocaine, or whatever, right? That's how they cope with it, right? So we literally didn't have those resources, right? So fast forward to, let's just say 2010, right? Now there are more, a little bit more black therapists, right? We still dealing with, we seeing Trayvon get shot down, Eric Gardner get choked out, just not even going to name all the people, but you know, because it's a gut-wrenching situation for me. When you see that over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and you come from those living situations, right? You come from those economic situations. You went to the schools that these people went to, and to see these people choked, shot, stabbed, beat, dragged, whatever, by people of authority that's supposed to protect us, that does something to you. Whether we want to admit it or not, that does something to you to see that repeatedly. But if we only see therapists as white or not like us, who do we turn to? Who do we turn to? Because as men, we are told to suck it up. We got to be there for you, right? So if I got to be there for you, who do I release to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who am I supposed to let go to? This is my escape. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be my escape. And then I get sick and I can't provide for the family. That starts another cycle. Because if we got kids, the kids gonna see that. Then we think it's a
But
priestly
that's
cycle.
on top of the trauma that you don't even know you have.
Absolutely.
Many of us have grown up through trauma. We didn't know what trauma was.
Absolutely.
We're still learning what trauma
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean, I think what I was getting at is with social media, and shout out to Therapy for Black Men, Instagram page, man. This woman created a page that is extremely, I just go to the page just to read the inspirational things. You know what I'm saying? Just to see what things I'm dealing with that I wasn't even aware of, right? So I can seek out and go to the therapist and be like, hey, I think I'm dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a lot of us, man, male and female, black, male and female, that are skeptical about going to therapists or afraid, right? Because we don't want to face ourselves, and that's a hard road to walk, man. I encourage everybody, every single person. If you black, you live in the United States, seek therapy.
So I guess this is where we diverge because I'm not with that. Like,
Okay.
If you need help and you need, you know, to harm somebody through alcohol or drugs, definitely you can do that. You harm yourself. Fine. But once you feel it's okay to pick up a gun and shoot somebody, I'm just not with that.
You don't think that's something mentally wrong?
No.
Okay.
For me, the penalty for doing that is a joke.
The penalty for shooting someone.
The penalty just for killing somebody, I think, is a joke.
It's a joke. Okay. How so?
And I don't want to say too much where I'm from, but when we're setting up today, somebody just sent me a video from Nigeria, and 5,000 naira, which is our currency. A policeman, broad daylight, shot someone. 5,000 naira is less than $20.
That was his fine? That was the penalty for him shooting someone?
No. Okay, so they were traveling somewhere.
Okay.
And it was I guess a transport bus. I guess it was asking for a bribe. I'm assuming right here, that's what not normally happens. I guess if people were arguing, he cocked back his rifle, shot him in the head, the guy away. People started being the police officers to a bloody pulp.
Okay.
And the video cut. You understand? But then it was that immediate street justice. So although we might not have a police office, just like it is here, people know, okay, you do something, people are gathering around, it's instant. Like you're going to get killed.
Okay.
Versus here, you can get arrested, take what they call a mugshot and smile. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Or let justice prevail. You go to court, and then it takes, you get put on death row. It takes 40 years before they take your
The
life.
justice system is fucked up.
In that 40 years, you're being popularized and recognized. Jay-Z. I don't. What he's saying that one lyric that he's giving props to the shooter, not the person that got shot, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's glamorized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus, oh
How
yeah,
about
what's it called? Shot somebody yesterday. Oh yeah, they burned him alive on the street the same time. That will put the fear in you. No, it's a repercussion to my madness. You understand?
Right.
So I feel like the penalty is just not is a joke. And
I
that's
agree.
is not enough of a deterrent.
I
To
agree.
me.
I agree that, when you have those situations where somebody is penalized for a crime, let's just say triple murder, whatever. A guy goes into a house and kills husband, wife, and a 3-year-old daughter, right? I agree that, once you go to trial, you shouldn't be on death row for 40 years. That's just, it's
It
ridiculous.
doesn't have to be that extreme. So my point with something you just said too. On Park Heights, there's two different sides of Park Heights.
Absolutely.
It's police don't know where they can go and abuse somebody that looks like you and I,
Absolutely.
and where they'll cross over that. What was it? Northern Parkway. Okay, we can't abuse anybody here because they're gonna get lawyers and their
Right.
lives are more sacred. So even within us, we know. Okay, if I cap you, not much is gonna happen. If I rape you, not much is gonna happen. But let me go to a certain hue. Oh, that repercussion is there. So that's the same for police officers that's killing us. They know, okay, I'm not going to try this in this neighborhood. So it's a thing within ourselves. Is what do we get punished for? What can we get away with?
And that's a
You know, and
perpetuated.
I just think that the therapy thing, the mental illness thing, it's real, but I think it's being overused in a lot of instances in this day and age.
So is anybody safe? No matter if you're heterosexual, LGBTQ, if you're from a Jewish community, black community, white community, Hispanic community.
When it comes to domestic
Anybody
violence,
safe from domestic violence?
yes.
Who's safe from domestic
Yes.
violence?
Well, we're gonna take it to commercial break.
Yes.
We don't talk about it on the break. Who's
I will
safe?
tell you who's safe.
I'm curious.
I will tell you who's safe.
Everybody duck down. Duck down. Dot. Walked into a bar and got swung on. Thank you. Dot. Walked into a bar.
Yes, and as we always say, the conversations that are off camera are just as insightful as the ones that are on camera. We want to thank our guests for being transparent, for being willing to have these open conversations with us and to share their unbiased opinions. Thank you to my co-hosts for coming up with some amazing questions.
All right, no, you have the amazing questions, and we've had some amazing responses from our guests.
Absolutely.
We got Faith the artist.
We have Roxanne the Empress,
We have Afeni the barber.
and we have King the Motivator. That's who's joining us this evening for our episode walked into a bar. David, are you ready to hit them with the last and final topic for the evening?
Yeah, I'm about to pull the fur back.
It's a doozy.
Look,
Y'all got
we've been
enough
pretty,
drinks in you?
yeah, we've been pretty serious. We've even had some serious political topics, some medical topics, and who's safe, who's not safe, who's on first, second, and third. But we're going to close it out with a banger. Addiction to porn, guys.
Oh, what was
I gotta
that?
think about this.
Faith has left the building.
Now,
ladies
no,
and
this
gentlemen.
isn't to be confused with Never Have I Ever. This is just a topic.
Faith, why were you ready, lady? Why were you leaving? I know. I gotta ask you this
We gotta
question.
get a question. Let's see.
Why were you ready, leaving?
I'm not addicted.
Oh?
I'm not an addict.
Oh, you just
say that.
Only
You're
about
just
4
a
or 5 times
participant.
an hour? Only about 4 or 5 times an hour?
No.
Screen
A
spectator.
little bit, 3?
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, because you know I got a porn gate over here. I hit you and then it turns green if you like addicted. It's yellow if you partially addicted. Red if you just
XX.
like to watch.
Before you go disclosing too much, David just answered the original question.
I just had to ask you to leave. All right, high five.
I may have been uncomfortable with the comment.
Uncomfortable? No. This
That
is
could have been
comfortable
why I
quarters.
was leaving.
Good Christian.
Not why I was leaving. but-
Christian.
Montego Bar and Grill, we're comfortable. All right. Is it an addiction to porn considered cheating?
Yes.
Uh-oh, go ahead. Start it off.
Damn, you said that rather quick, brother. He's yes.
Wait, does it have to be an addiction to porn, or is it just someone?
Faith, you're addicted.
Addiction.
You're cheating.
We're talking
Faith.
addiction.
You're cheating. We're
Like,
No,
like,
I-
constant
Like
can't
your
stop,
stomach
that's
hurt
not
if
me,
you don't
no,
watch it
no,
today?
No. Yeah, I'm with you because
like when you get home,
Go
you
ahead.
get your
Say
glass
that,
of wine.
Faith.
You be like, yeah, I want to see
I mean,
this
as
finish.
far as cheating goes, if you think that your partner who's watching it all the time is cheating on you by watching it, I mean,
That's why.
maybe they just like to watch it. They don't have to be addicted to it.
No, it's addiction.
It's addiction.
It's an
So
addiction
it's
to porn
porn
considered
is
cheating.
addiction.
Is
Okay.
addiction to porn considered as cheating? Unless we have to define what addiction is then.
yes.
You can't go without it. You have to see it. You have to experience it.
Is it once a day or is
I
it
say
multiple
No,
times?
no,
I
no.
say yes.
Addiction is multiple
So
times a
here's
day.
another
So,
caveat.
Breakfast,
I say yes.
lunch, brunch,
If you're
and dinner.
addicted to Coke,
Here's
I
another
say yes.
caveat to it.
I just
I
said
don't
Your
I don't want to play that game.
if you
Wait a minute, guys, wait a
Your
minute. Addiction is breakfast, lunch, brunch, and dinner.
I
And
can't watch
snack.
porn.
And
That's
a
a-
snack.
That's
I don't think
That's addiction, man.
I think the number of times is irrelevant. Like if you know your spouse or your significant other watches that, it can't be cheating because they're not hiding it from you. To me, cheating is something
Yeah,
that
that's a good point.
you're hiding from someone else. Now I think it's cheating your spouse out of the relationship if you are watching that and pleasing yourself, and then when it comes time to please your spouse, oh, I don't feel like doing
I'm
that.
tired.
Exactly.
You've been beating
Because-
off all day. Goddamn. I'm sorry.
Full
I
course
would
meal.
left.
Yeah.
Bring
Too
So,
much drink.
Yeah, bring it back.
so in that aspect, I would say that you're removing from the attention you're supposed to be paying to your spouse and giving it to another object, which today you could say is porn, sex doll, whatever you want to, a sexual object. I think masturbation is another form if you're playing with toys, and then you can't be with your spouse in that same way or give them that same attention. I think that's potential cause for issues, and then
FYI, your DM is about to explode. So just be ready.
I don't have DM.
Oh, well, yeah. It's about to be a lot of women.
And that was my caveat when it takes the place of you actually being able to please your partner.
Oh, that's a problem.
And that's addiction, because when the addiction to alcohol is so that you cannot even function, you can't get up, you can't go to work, you can't take care of your children, you're so high that you cannot function your normal way. That is what we would consider an addiction.
I think we want to hear what Faith has to say. All right, so I'm yeah, so
I have to realize people are acting.
I've never dealt with anybody that was addicted to porn. I've never been addicted to porn. I like watching it to get ideas for little tricks that I want to try.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's it. I mean, I don't know. I've never dealt with anybody that was addicted to porn. Like it's kind of
Me
like
either.
diving into the rabbit hole.
But how would we know if they're hiding it?
Like you know when somebody's like they just coming all day. Like you know what you feel like when you
You're
like,
not around.
when you release like 7 times in one day. That's a lot. Like you look different. You are different. You don't look like this. Not you don't look like this,
Roxanne
like,
looking like,
you don't look. You like
Face me something.
it happens.
you like what are you doing? I just want to sleep.
My word.
But yeah, no, that I don't. That's a
But if they're addicted and they still have time for you, I think they just probably, what do they call it?
That's
An
weird.
info.
An info. Yeah, that's an info.
So is that cheating if they could still?
You still addicted?
And then
Well,
I guess
I don't know. Based on the
If
definition, that's not
cool
addiction.
with it, it's not cheating.
Then you have to define cheating, because normally cheating is when you are giving your time, giving your talents, giving your efforts to someone else other than your significant
I think
other.
that's an extremely technical definition. I don't think you can cheat on a person with porn.
So
You can
you just watch it?
abuse your relationship.
I agree with
You can
and I
abuse your
believe
relationship.
I believe if you're hiding it from your partner, it's cheating.
And I believe that if you
Well,
cannot
I
pleasure
wouldn't
your
say that.
significant other,
You gotta
because
be
you can
I would
pleasure
much rather.
yourself.
I would much rather, if I was dealing with a woman, I would much rather she be hiding,
That.
looking at porn,
No,
to
but
fucking
King,
with some other guy.
King, King, King.
I'm
Hold
gonna
up,
say,
King,
I'm gonna say this. My husband don't have time for that, all right? Because I'm present. And today he can reach me on Facebook. He can text me. He can call me. If I need to come home from work, honey, I am on the way. Look, I gotta leave early. We don't need any of that.
Yeah, so is she just watching? Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that's not. Is she just watching or is she masturbating?
I'm
to-
available
like,
to my
somebody
husband.
that's just watching
so
the
we're
porn does not necessarily mean that.
It's
So what would you rather have? What would you rather
Go give my
have?
attention somewhere else.
What would you rather have? If you had to choose the lesser of two evils, would it be porn or another person?
Listen,
Porn.
let me say.
I
Neither
would
one.
much rather be like, yo, what are you doing? Are you looking at porn?
Are you not available for your significant
I'm
other?
always available.
Right.
Then there
It's
is no other options. If your attention is not on me, it's a whole problem.
Some
Right.
people
It's a whole
get turned on by looking at other
No,
people.
no. I got that covered on my end.
Looking at other people.
No,
Not you.
no, I got that covered. I could do my hair different. I could put on something else. I will buy a wig. We're
Okay.
not doing that. My husband is for me, and I am for my husband, and we're not doing that. That's not.
To answer
That's
your
not right.
question though, I would choose porn because you can always have a connection with someone else, and that will threaten your relationship.
Okay.
So I would rather you watch porn than go hang out with someone else.
Absolutely.
King,
agree.
King, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
You was like, if your mate don't know about you being addicted to porn and watching this porn is not cheating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you in the process of watching this porn and taking care of your business and your mate walk in on you, are you embarrassed?
No.
So you cool with that?
Me personally.
They don't know that you addicted to this.
Let me cover
You in
all.
there, you got
Let me
slippers
cover
on.
all the bases. Let me cover all the bases.
Your hands all greasy. And they walk in on you. And they don't know you addicted to looking at this
I'm
porn.
gonna cover all the bases with this
I
one
just wanna know.
question because this is gonna. If I answer this wrong, this is gonna put me in extremely bad amount of money.
No,
One, I'm not addicted to porn. Number two, if I was watching porn and she came in, I'm not
You
gonna
there
be
with
embarrassed.
Johnson and Jones.
If I'm mid-stroke and she walks in,
You-
I would cut the computer, the TV off, like, come on in.
Mm-mm.
And I said in the discussion, like, I just
I
wouldn't
don't
be,
think it's going
like,
to
to
be
me,
that.
No,
to me,
baby.
to me, like, porn was just it was a rite of passage. Like, everybody, like, looked at porn. Males, females, whatever, we all looked at porn.
I think it's
Not together.
I think it could
Let
be
me clear that up.
it can be a stimulus, right?
Right.
Yes.
To your point, it's
Like,
somebody.
So that's what I was saying,
That's
like,
like walking in.
That's
like some people
Money.
get turned on by looking at other
No.
people. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think
Like if you've been with
that's
somebody
not
for, if
Yeah.
you've been with somebody for, I've been in a relationship that was over 10 years. So
Right.
I'm not saying this was the case, but if you've been with somebody for 10 years, you know every inch of their body. Right? You know what they look like when they gonna wear this, what they gonna look like if they don't wear this, what they gonna look like. They come with ice, whips, chains, handcuffs, whatever. You know what they like, right? So just seeing another person, another woman naked might stimulate me like, I'm good to go for the next 6 weeks. That just might be it.
I don't approve of that.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's a one-off.
I don't think that's being spiritually connected with the person you're with. If you can do that with the person you're with, that's not the person for you.
No.
From
From a man's perspective,
me,
from a man's perspective,
Yeah.
from a man's perspective,
Right.
we might see something out because we're visual.
We're visual.
This,
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm in Miami. I'm on, what is it, Black Beach? Bike Week. Okay, I'm calling you right now. I'm coming home.
Right.
It's not because I saw your picture. It's not because I saw your 10 years worth of everything. It's because I saw this other thing that stimulated me, and that's why I'm going to
Right, now
direct.
what-
Okay, that's different
No,
from
it's
you.
not.
No,
It's the same
listen. No,
thing.
it's not. Allow me to explain.
Oh, well, sorry.
Thank
You
you.
saw how she did
The
this?
difference
I'm gonna
is.
educate.
Listen, the difference is that's something that happened to occur. You didn't go to look for that,
Yes, you
to
did.
find that excitement for you. No, he didn't. He said,
You went to- you
no,
went to
listen,
Miami.
he
You went
said
to
he
Miami.
happened to, he didn't say he went there for that purpose. He said he was in Miami. He saw this chica. Oh, she fine. She
You've not-
remind me. Oh,
you've
let me
not
get
been
with
to
my
Miami.
You've been to
whoever.
Miami, correct?
That's different.
You've been to Miami, correct?
Listen, I don't
What
have to.
What
But
happened
I
to
don't
Miami
have.
on the
But
day?
I don't
I
have
just went to
to.
the trip club.
But understand.
Yeah.
Let's take it back. Let's get real with it.
Okay.
I don't have to have been there to understand where he's coming from. There's a difference from having a casual occurrence of something happening that comes into your mind that makes you think, oh, let me be with this person, than for you to purposely set out to look at something to encourage you to be with that person.
Okay.
If you have to do that for me, I don't want you.
Everybody's not wired the same though.
Let me say something real quick. Because I don't think as men we give ourselves credit, right? Enough credit. Parties get thrown at us on a more frequent basis than women believe,
I'm looking quiet.
right? So
That's
a
what
lot.
you're telling me.
Yes. So a lot
Yeah.
of so a lot of times you can give into that, or you can say no. You can get tempted by it and not act on it, okay? And go home to your wife and say,
Mhm.
you know, but is that temptation that is there? You understand what I'm saying? My man said right there, so I'm not going. You know, but generally
Oh,
speaking,
speak your mind.
generally speaking, as men, we get
Mhm.
tempted.
Mm-hmm.
We face these temptations a lot.
Okay.
Because we think about it and say, no, I'm not doing that. I have a wife.
Right.
And you go back and
But you
Do
shouldn't
what-
be
listen.
purposely putting yourself
No,
in
we
a
don't-
place of where you think there's going to be
That's-
temptation to
that's-
have
that's-
that.
that's stepping out the door.
born.
that's stepping out the door.
But
That's going
that's
outside.
exactly. That's why I told you what the difference was. Like, I understand you are human. You're going to be who you are. But there are a lot of men out here that are very mature and very focused and very guided, and they don't function that way. And I'm happy to know one. I'm happy to be married to one. So I know the difference from experience. Like, I hear where you're coming from, but it's important for our young men out here in the community to know that it doesn't have to be that way. That's not who you have to be.
I'm not
Right, and there's
advocating
nothing
for
wrong
that.
with looking
I'm
at
not-
But there
porn
is
either.
another side, and they need to be aware that there's another side, because those who
It ain't
might
nothing
want to
wrong with
walk
looking
that
at porn.
Why
side,
would
they
you
feel
go to
uncomfortable
Miami?
because they feel like,
Somebody
oh,
me.
I'm gonna get teased because the boy's gonna look at me like I'm scared, I can't do this, I can't do that. But really what they're doing is being mature and about themselves. You shouldn't want to be a part of everybody. Everybody's frequency isn't for you.
Right.
Can I interject though?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please help.
I think I don't think that
Empress is good at this.
I don't think we coach young men into that. I think, like he said earlier, with men we are visual, physical creatures. And I mean, I'm going to express this honestly from my biological sons and my stepson. When they were babies, I seen their attraction to women. My son was probably a year and a half. And the same woman that I seen physically attractive, I took him into my job. And all the women at the job was trying to hold my son, pick him up, take him around the firm, and he wouldn't go to him. He kept turning to me like, no. The woman that I was attracted to at the firm that worked there, as soon as she came in the room, he jumped into her arms and went with her, and everybody was like, see, just like your father. And he was a baby. She took him around the entire firm, and when she got back, she said all he kept doing was kissing my face and putting his head in my breast. That's a baby.
So for me, I think sexuality is a ongoing, evolving, not fully charted territory, right? So I'll put it like this. So I can look at Faith, right? And I can be like, Faith has nice cheekbones, right? That's it. That's literally what I'm looking at, face, cheekbones, right? That may do something to me, and I'll be like, damn, I can't wait to get home.
Oh, thank you. It's not wrong.
I can't wait to get home. I'm not thinking
And
about.
I understand
I'm not
that,
thinking
but-
about. I'm not thinking about faith sexually or
And
none of
I'm
that.
not, and I'm for all of that. But what I'm saying is the difference is you're not running Faith down to look at her cheekbones so you can go home and be with who you want to be with. You just happen to see Faith and she's beautiful and oh, I need to go see it. But that's different from being addicted to porn and having to have it to be stimulated to be who you with.
Right.
You shouldn't need something else
Empress
to
is
get
saying
you
her-
ready
I
to
agree.
go to the person that you're supposed
the
to
point
be
she's trying to
spiritually
make is
connected
that
to.
the person
You know what I
seeks
mean?
the porn versus running into something
Right.
that's
I can see that. I can see that. But
right. That's what she's trying to say.
Right.
everybody doesn't have the same circumstances growing up, right?
Right.
So what you're
Right.
saying shouldn't be done. People shouldn't be racist,
Mhm.
but they are.
Exactly.
That's the world we live in.
Right.
People shouldn't be misogynist.
Mhm.
That's the world we live in. You got to deal with that, right?
That's
Porn
why we have to
exists.
grow within
So
ourselves.
if somebody, if during those developmental years, you 6, 7, 8, 9, you get exposed to porn too early before you fully understand your sexuality, that's your trigger.
Right.
Just it might not even be the actual act of people having sex. It may be looking at people on the TV screen, right? It may be the actual act of putting the DVD in. Pardon for the young people who don't know what a DVD is. It may be that simple thing that's going to get you riled up. As soon as you see the person, it's not actually the person. Maybe just the act of getting to them.
So as we
You know what
wrap,
I'm saying?
as we wrap this up, I would like to interject and say and make a plea that, I think the bottom line is we were looking at it as when porn becomes a replacement for what is happening between you and your mate, I feel that's when it warrants a real heart-to-heart, transparent conversation. Because at the end of the day, if you have to fulfill your sexual hours by watching others engage in it rather than engaging it with me, then we have a problem in our relationship. And it goes beyond your addiction.
Right.
And so I think that was the premise of this question. Is an addiction to porn considered cheating? And should it be, and can it also result in a serious relationship issue?
Okay. Well,
And I'm
it just
single,
seems.
so I'm not cheating.
All right. She's single. Faith is single.
Good job, Faith. Woohoo!
So in that.
Cheating on anyone when I watch it.
In that, it seems as though nobody in this room is addicted to porn, it sounds like. But for any of our viewers or anyone that is addicted to porn, 1-800-XOX porn. We're here to help.
You always come up with some type of
What?
business.
I mean, love porn, XOX, love porn. We're going to detox you.
What would we tell
xnxx.com,
these
right?
people who are addicted to porn?
That
Look
they
at you,
should
you really-
not. They got to make sure they pay their cell phone bill.
No, honestly, we
Cell
tell
phone bill.
them to call 1-888-795-4061.
Are you giving them a real number?
I am giving them the pornography addiction hotline.
You
It's
can't-
You want to divert
just
our
like-
business? We can
You never know, they might
Can I ask, how do people
Listen,
addicted? What do people
April,
addicted
can
to
you
porn
please
do?
run that number at the bottom of the
You
screen?
can drive and get an
Because just like we give a hotline for suicide and we give a hotline for
A lot of
domestic
people
violence,
don't
we're going to
say
give a
drugs because of
hotline
that.
for pornography.
Yeah.
One
People
for
watch
faith.
it.
Because I watch them with stuff on their computer.
795-4061. You can beat your addiction. And on that note, once
I just
again,
walked out of bar. She blew out.
we want to thank our guests again for finding it not robbery to spend this hour and a half with us here at Montego Bar and Grill located at
This was awesome.
1818
Yeah, I
North
enjoyed
Charles
meeting you
Street.
guys.
And guys, before we
You guys
close
helped me
out,
warm up.
we want you to tell our viewers how they can reach you if they want to have follow-up conversations or connect with you on a business or maybe a personal level, because somebody was shouting out that they were single, and we are not mad at love connections, because things like that happen in a bar.
So if you want to follow me, wait a minute, let me pull out my Instagram because I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Jesus, can you relate?
It's can you?
Yes, K-A-N-U.
All right.
K-A-N-Y-U-R-E-L-A-T-E. That's how I found it.
That's my
Relate.
Instagram. If y'all need it, is this camera on? This one? Yeah.
All of them.
I I think you got a publicist.
My
I mean, hey, you
Instagram,
know, I tell you that she need a check.
He does have great motivation.
my
content.
Instagram is BossLadyM3. I have a boss vendor package on there. For anyone who wants
Talking about it,
start their own business. Start their own business. Brand yourself. Boss Lady M3 Instagram.
That's what you said. That boss lady. Go ahead, Faith. I'm addicted to porn. Oh, no,
Uh-oh.
My personal page is Ardynblue, ARDYNBLU. My art page is Blue Wells Company, BLU, no E, Wells Company, all spelled out. That is where you can find my artwork. I take requests.
This always the one with the
Right,
glasses.
all right.
So Montego, Baltimore on Instagram. We have R&B Wednesdays here. Every Wednesday happy hour. We have second and fourth Thursdays. We do a live band downstairs and house music upstairs. Starting a young professional happy hour in March. We have soap on Saturdays. And I don't know how to check DM, so if you send me anything there,
You'll get the
Just
notification.
calm down.
I'm Black
They have
Planet.
great
I'm Black
food.
Planet. I'm
Just
high.
calm
Don't
down.
do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do
Just
that.
come.
It's on MySpace. I still got my MySpace account. Hit me on MySpace.
Are you serious?
You have
That's out of
MySpace?
control. He said Black
All
Planet.
right, guys, you can always tune into WPB Media Networks on all of our social handles at WPB Media Networks and on Facebook, WPB Media, as well as our website, www.wpbmedianetworks.com. You can find me, Rhonda. I have two personal. One is at rsvpem.ceo, and you can also reach me on my business page, which is rsvpem.
You can reach me at I Live Baltimore. You can reach me at Mentor LLC and also ET Music Group. That's ETMUZIK Group on IG.
Yes, we want to shout out our film fam, Miss
Absolutely.
April J1. Wait, did I get that right?
That's correct.
April J1 on Instagram, also April J Women Talk Live, and we also have 7. His Instagram is at Nazir MMP. And before we go, we want to make sure that you are aware of the shows that we have coming up. You want to tune into Women Talk Live. We're going to be coming at you in March with
Yes,
a whole new
indeed.
season. Women Talk Live featuring Sassy Scribe and Miss April J. And they are still in search of their new co-host. We have some possibilities, but we'll make sure you guys know by March who that's going to be. Make sure that you're tuning into the Live Wired show that's coming soon. We have Thunderous Altercations that is streamed live every Saturday at 3 p.m. We also have Diary of a Single Millennial that's streamed live on Tuesdays. And then coming up on February the 23rd,
We got the
Sci-Fi Cypher. Hello, yes. So we're going to host this Yoko McSuggin is going to be doing the bars for bars.
bar for bar.
All right, so all of this and more can be found again on our website, www.wpbmedianetworks.com. We want to make sure that everyone gets home safely and tune in next week.
We don't want to forget though, if you want to advertise on WPB Media Networks, just hit us up.
Hit us up. You can hit us up at wpbmedianetworks@gmail.com. All right, good night, everybody.
Bye.